Hi students, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create some weavings in paper. I have an instruction sheet should you decide you want to do one of these on your own. My youngest students, I will probably have a paper like this all prepped for you, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what you're going to need should you be starting on your own. Here is the materials list. You will need one sheet of paper. It could be any color. It could be black, it could be red, any color you choose. Some strips of other colors. You can cut those on the paper trimmer. For the ones that we're going to be doing in class, I've already prepared just cutting some strips of those under papers because they're very colorful and kind of fun. You're going to need enough to fill the paper up. So you can see these strips. I would line those up on the paper and just make sure that I have enough that are going to end up filling up the paper. So those would be all along here, filling up the paper, okay? Once I have enough that fill the paper, then I'm going to use a ruler, and I'll need a pencil or a white colored pencil. If it's a dark paper, you may want a white colored pencil. Usually if it's dark like black, you will need white, otherwise a pencil will do. Okay, then you're going to line your ruler up, as you can kind of see that I've already done, and you're going to draw a line across the top, and then as you hold your ruler, you're going to draw just from that line down. And I just line that up, making sure that I'm spacing my fingers out enough so that my ruler doesn't move as I draw those lines. Okay, so you can see that I've already done that step. The next step here, it says to put your name at the top. So I'm going to put my name. And I'm also going to put my class code. So Mrs. Taylor, and let's just say that I'm working with first grade, Mrs. Ridenhour's class, I would put a 1R. If it's Miss Dobby's, a 1D, etc. Okay, so I started to write the word name. Okay, then I'm going to either letter or number these strips. I really like to do just A, B, because we're making a pattern, so I'm going to make an AB pattern all across. But you could use numbers too. Hold up your even or your odd numbers, okay? And then I'm ready to begin. Once I've cut these strips apart, I do not cut these. I do not cut those. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut apart on those lines, trying to stay as nice and neat as possible as I cut all of them. All right, so now I have cut all of the strips, and I have made sure that I cut all the way up to that white line, okay? And it cut as straight as I could, not jagged, okay? I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more so you guys can see all of this. The first thing I'm gonna do is, this is the back, okay? And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold up all of the A's. Or if I had numbered these, I would hold up all of the odd numbers first. Or I could hold up all the evens. You guys, you decide. You can hold up the A's or the B's first. It really doesn't matter. But whatever you do, you wanna hold them all up. Then I'm gonna take my first strip, I'm gonna lay it down, and then I'm gonna push it up to the top, okay? Push it up all the way to the top. That's called combing, okay? Then I do the opposite. I hold up the B's. I hold up all the B's. And this is where it goes really fast. And I want the nicest part of the painting to be down, okay? Because the other side is going to be the front side, okay? Where I won't have any of the letters. So this is going to be the nice side. This is the back, okay? So you want to put your nicest ones. Now, again, I'm going to alternate. I just have held up the B's. If I forget, I'm going to look to see which ones are on top. Whichever ones are on top, that's the ones I'm not going to hold up next. So if you forget, okay, I just did B because that's on top. I'm going to hold up the A's, okay? And I'm going to do this until I get all the way. That's the nicest side. I like that side better. Combing it up, pushing it all the way up until it meets those other papers. Sometimes I have to push up those again, okay? And I'm going to keep going and keep going. All right, and this is where I'm kind of getting to the bottom, and it gets a little bit harder to weave that into. So I need to hold up the B's, and I kind of have to do that. And that's probably about where I want to stop, where you can kind of still see the bottoms or of the letters. If I try to do one more, sometimes they just kind of keep slipping out on me. I'm going to double check that I've pushed these all up enough, combing them up, that's just going to make it look nicer and neater. Craftsmanship and neatness counts. It's always going to look nicer and be well received. So I just kind of use my fingernail and kind of scoot them up all a little bit more. Sometimes that makes it so you can fit another one in, but I think I'm good. All right, the next step on our list is that you want to keep repeating like I just did to get to the bottom, and then you're going to glue in the bottom strips. Okay, let me show you what that means. And then you would glue all of the side ones too. I usually just start on one side. Okay, so whichever ones are on top are the ones that I'm going to glue. And I like to use this glue just because it's more permanent. And I just lift up a strip, put a drop of glue, hold it down, count to 5 seconds. And I keep doing that all the ones at the bottom, but then I also lift up the ones on the side that are on the top. All around. I'm going to pause the video and show you what this looks like at the end. All right, I have just glued all of the ones that were on the top all around, and then I'm going to flip it over to the front side. Now this is especially where you want to be careful just to use little drops of glue. So again, I'm going to pick up all the ones on the top. I like to count to 5 or 10 because that really gets them in there. I'm going faster than I would normally if I were trying to make this for myself nice and neat. And then I'm going to go on the side, all of these, gluing underneath, and all of these also, okay? Again, I'm going to pause the video. All right, now that I have glued the front and the back, and everything is glued in place, I've waited for it to dry just a little bit and give it another minute or so. Then I can start to cut off the bottom. And I just do that right along that bottom strip. And I'm not going to cut this part over. What I like to do with that is I just like to fold it to the back so that it no longer shows. Otherwise I have to do more gluing, and then it kind of still has my name on it for Mrs. Taylor, okay? And then I'm going to cut along the side. So I'm cutting along that red strip this time. Everything is glued in, so it's not going to fall out on you. If you're in a pinch and you need to finish weaving the next time, you can always glue in the bottom strip, but then save the gluing of the other strips for the next class time. So then I have all of these fun little scrappy scraps. You can maybe make another art with them or put them in your table trash can and make sure that they go in the trash. Since these have paint on them, I cannot put them in the recycle bin, but if it's just regular paper, construction paper, feel free to put that in the blue trash can. All right, guys, happy weaving!